Hello there, this is MD here with you on GebZilla. In this video, we're going to take this shape that we made earlier, flip it upside down, and then turn it into a repeating pattern that goes on forever and ever and ever. We'll take a simple one, and then turn it into a lot of more abstract versions of it. We'll flip it around, and it will just repeat forever for us. It's great for background DS. I use it for printing fabric, printing wallpapers, gift wrap. Repeating patterns are awesome and easy. Let me show you how to do it now in Illustrator. Alright, to get started, go to Exercise Files, and you're looking for this one here, called Pattern. Open that up. Again, your file uses this file here, it's just something we draw earlier, but you can use your example, or the sea creature you made. Now to make a repeating pattern, we'll just hand draw anything. You could use our penguin. If we just want it to be the M, we just leave it as is. I'm gonna group it. So select it all. Object. Group. I'm gonna copy and paste it so we got another version of it. And I'm just gonna rotate it around, just so that I get more of an interesting kind of wallpapery pattern. The other thing you need to do is whatever size it is now. So this is my US letter and size. This is going to of the pattern after you've made it. Be the size of the pattern. It's quite hard to adjust the size, so if this is the size you want to leave it there. But I want it to be kind of a small pattern. So I'm holding. Stick to them both. Holding down Shift, shrinking them down. I've got them there. So I'm gonna select them both. I'm gonna go to Window, and I'm gonna go to this unlikely character here. It's called Pattern Options. It doesn't seem very exciting, right? But this is where the excitement is hidden. So Window, Pattern Options, and this opens up. Another big problem is, like, hey, here's the pattern options. Nothing works. Here, I click this little hamburger menu here, click on him, go to Make Pattern, and life comes good. Don't worry about this. It's added to the swatches panel. We'll talk about that in a second. Click OK, and that you can kind of see. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit now. Is my pattern. It's already kind of cool. Imagine that and say it's our brand for our logo. Imagine this getting turned into wallpaper that is like in the reception lobby, boardroom thing. Go on. And a couple of things that I like to do is, you have probably got this undimmed copies. It dims the one like. So those are my two originals. And there's the repeats out here, and you can retouch them. It dims them for some reason. I'm just gonna turn this off, so I wanna give it the full look. In Show the Edge. I'm in the edge either. I wanna see what the pattern looks like. How many copies? So it's going 5 by 5. I wanna go up big. Not the biggest, I can go 5 by 7. 9 by 9. Hey, just so. It's spread out a bit further. It's just a preview. It will actually continue and forever. Okay. But just as a lot of preview would. Just say 9 by 9. So what else can you do? Now, the grid is interesting, but not exactly what we want. Right? Go to that which is tile type, and start playing around with these options. This is where it gets quite cool. Brick by row. Brick by column. It looks the same. Hex by column. Hex by row. That's kind of cool. Once you do find one, you have got some adjustments. You can play around with this. So my one is 0.7 by 0.2. I'm gonna go 1 by 0.3. Don't worry too much about what these measurements are. It's kind of a bit of experimentation. I'm messing about now. And okay. 1x1. Nope. 0.5x 0.5. It's overlapping. It's doing some cool stuff. It's not looking so good. Overlap. You can decide on how these guys overlap. If they do get in really small. So watch this. If I go 0.2, you can see that overlapping now. And I can tell who goes on top. So well, you can kind of see it in the background there. You are on top. Who's on top? Now it's me. Let's name our pattern. This one's gonna be the GebZilla. Did we even name this thing? I'm gonna go back to grid. I'll play around with this a little bit. I'll get the editor fast forward while I mess about. Alright, we're back. And you would have noticed I spent ages doing that. That's okay. So what happens now? You're like, okay, I've done, I like it. What do we do? This is the really weird thing about this tool. You're like, great. Where's the button? It's way over here. Can you see it on the top left here? Okay. We've seen this before when we used isolation mode. But in this case, they're using this little gray bar. And we wanna hit this one that says done. And we say, I'm done. Thanks. And you like, what happened? Where did it all go? Okay. So what happens is, you use these as your creation tools. You make them and you make your pattern. And that pop-up in the beginning says, don't worry. We'll make it and we'll stick it in your swatches panel for you. And that's where we need to go find it. So we don't need this anymore. I'm just gonna put them over here cause I don't know. I don't wanna delete them. For no reason. I'm gonna draw out a rectangle. Well, any sort of size. I'm gonna cover the whole background. Don't worry about the fill color. Or maybe give it a stroke. Give it no stroke. But the fill color is where we're gonna change it. This thing popped up. You can have it open. It doesn't matter because the same thing's up here. And here. When you things up here and here when you go to swatches. It's up to you. So I've got my rectangle selected. I've got the fill color clicked. And there is this. With tiny little GebZilla. There's my fill. Cool. And there is my crazy repeating M pattern. I love it. Alright. The next thing is let's edit this pattern. Let's first of all change what's in it physically and then we'll change the size. So if you go to fill. So I've got the big rectangle selected. Go to fill. That says pattern options. Pattern options is down here. There's this option or you can go to window and it doesn't matter which way you go. And nothing really happens. Go up to the hamburger menu. And say, I would like to edit this pattern. And we go back into that kind of mysterious world here with the gray bar at the top. And now what it lets us do is, let's click of this repeating tile. On this one that says show tile edge. Cause that's kind of the boundaries, so what I can do is I can copy, there it is there. This guy here and paste it. So I've got another guy. You can see what it's doing. Over all these different places. And now you can get all kind of like funky with copy pasting another one. And I do this more. I guess trying to go for random. Just kind of moving it around so it fills in some of these gaps. Maybe one more. I want to do a small one, but I think I might. And this is where. Cause this is lots of overlapping now. Say, it depends on which color's your primary color. You can start messing around with like, who's on top, who's on the bottom, and yeah, makes a bit more sense when you got them overlapping. Now we've done it with the same repeating pattern. Okay, if you've seen patterns with, I don't know, it's a sea theme, and there's a fish, and then there's a starfish and there's a bucket and spade. Draw these things and then kind of move them around to fit the gap. When you are done, just like we did before, click this random button up here, done, and then, what it didn't do before is it didn't just disappear, and you have to reapply cause a very big chunk of it applied. It's starting to do some cool, I don't know, Jack and the Beanstalk stuff. I think it's a little bit more abstract now for us. Actually, what I might do is, I'm gonna go and adjust this. You don't want to see me doing it. I'll do it just kind of way. But what you do need to see is what happens when you try and resize this box. Watch. I'm gonna resize it. Okay. You can see it gets smaller. Black arrow. Grab this rectangle. Make it smaller. It resizes with it. Which is not quite what I want. Or it is. One or the other. Okay. Sometimes you do want it. Sometimes you don't. We need to go and change this. So with it selected. Actually, you don't need it selected. Go to Window and go to this window option that says Transform. The Transform panel opens. And in here, there's a little it at the end if you wanna hang around. Flyout menu. It's really hidden. You've got to bookmark this video if you wanna do this. If you're loving this pattern stuff because, man, I only remember this cause I have to teach it so many times. Where they hide some of these bits. But you can see here it says, transform both. So when I'm resizing something or transforming it, it's gonna resize both the object and the pattern. What I can say is actually, I wanna transform just the object only, please. So it means when I resize this now, can you see? It's kind of a little bit more maybe what you need. And the trouble is it's on forever. So next project a month later, when you start doing something you're like, why is it only? Why isn't it rotating? So what you can do and what I do is as soon as I've kind of got it to what I want, I go and turn it back to both. Now, I get to resize it and kind of get it to a smaller size. Turn it back to object only. And I can resize this up and it will keep repeating forever. Now, a couple of things before I get into playing with my button, is I am going to, say I've got a new document. Okay. I'm just gonna use all the defaults. Click create. And you notice over here in my, got a rectangle. Fill it. Go here and you're like, where did it go? It was there and it's gone. I've got this tasty treat. It's one of the default ones from Illustrator. And what you can do to get it from this document to this one, is that in this first document, click the tab. Just grab this rectangle. Don't worry too much about it. Just copy it, click in here, and watch. Let's just paste it anywhere. You can even delete it. I don't need it anymore. But that whole just bringing it inches, lump it into the swatches of that document. There is a long-winded way of going inches, saving out swatches, and loading them back in again. So you can save out swatches using this ACE format. Then open that library and bring it back inches. It's just a really long way. Anyway, and all you need to do is just copy and paste it from the document that you already had. I keep saying one last thing, is something called a Spoonflower. Let's jump to that. Alright, so this is Spoonflower. Basically, it's a fabric printing business. So you can design your pattern in Illustrator. I'm not gonna explain exactly how they upload it and get it ready for this. It's pretty easy. There's a how it works. You can go through the process. You just upload your design, pick the fabric, any sorts of fabrics, or actually print it onto actual things, like pillows, and stuff pre-made. But what I do, is I just get it printed onto actual fabric. You can pick your fabric, say here, so you upload your design, choose your product, print your order. You can see some basic cotton, and with them is I've got a swatched pic. You can see here there's all sorts of cool fabrics that it comes out on. All sorts of cool stuff. What I did when I originally got started, sample pack. So you can get it, I guess, a feel for all of the different fabrics before you order them. And yeah, you print it, and they print really small runs, which is quite cool. They print by the meter or by the yard. It just turns up and you can start sewing it into things. I mean, we get things like wallpapers done for businesses, or wrapping paper for maybe corporate gifts, or your own personalized gifts. Anyway, that is Spoonflower. And that is gonna be us for doing this amazing pattern making. I am now gonna close this down and mess about my pattern, make it less like a beanstalk. I will see it in the next video, where we vectorize an image. We turn it into a cool vector hand-drawn illustration. with the click of a button. Alright, I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching. MD was with you here on GebZilla.